The man took off his shirt and revealed the body of a beast. Then, he looked at the bullet lodged in the tree trunk. His eyes were filled with endless despair, but the next second he made up his mind. He held the thick tree trunk without hesitation. His hands began to shake, with hundreds of bullets embedded in his back. He didn't struggle. Instead, he let himself tear his own flesh. The more painful it was, the more likely he was to survive. He relied on the pain, like the sting of biting ants, to keep himself alert. This pain triggered physical responses in his body, enhancing his endurance. Although this method kept him conscious, the relentless pain also made him lose control. Fortunately, the sight of 2 bird eggs saved him from collapse. He had been trapped in the jungle for weeks without food. Unable to wait, he broke the shell of 1 egg. What he saw shocked him, an unhatched bird. But human instinct overrode his hesitation. He ate the bird despite its raw and slimy texture. It was revolting at first, but soon he adapted. The natural taste of the bird became the best food he'd ever had. He cracked the 2nd egg, ate it, and threw away the shells. The man continued wandering through the jungle, looking for a way out. As he walked, he growled softly, hoping for a response, but the jungle remained silent. Even as he cried out with all his strength, there was no answer. Lost and aimless, he felt death creeping closer. The nights in the jungle were dangerous, and he had to rest wherever he could. The humid environment and constant mosquito bites caused his feet to rot, but he refused to give up on survival. One morning, his luck seemed to change. He spotted a footprint on the ground. Shocked, he examined it closely. Hope surged through him, but it quickly faded. The footprint was his own, left the previous day. Despair engulfed him. He screamed, feeling mocked by fate, but he didn't let it defeat him. This isn't over, he thought, taking a deep breath and continuing his journey. As days passed, his strength dwindled. One day, he climbed a rock and waved a bright red cloth at a passing plane, hoping to be rescued. But the plane flew past without noticing him. Exhausted, he collapsed on the rock, his hope draining away. Soon after, he heard a sound in the grass, a wild boar. Delirious from loneliness, he imagined the boar as a companion. They traveled together, sharing warmth like friends. But one morning, he woke up to find the boar gone. It wasn't real. The boar was a hallucination, a trick of his desperate mind. Heartbroken, he felt like giving up. But even then, he couldn't bring himself to end his life. Maybe there's still hope, he thought. One day, he stepped into a swamp. Panicking, he struggled to escape, but the more he moved, the deeper he sank. At last, he gave up, thinking it was the end. But when he stopped struggling, he realized something strange. The swamp was shallow. Relieved and frustrated, he crawled out of the mud and stumbled to a nearby river. Just as he was about to collapse, he spotted a shipwreck in the water. For a moment, he thought it was a mirage, but it was real. With his last bit of strength, he stood up and waved at the ship. He wanted to scream for help, but his voice was too weak. As the ship drifted further away, he felt fate mocking him once more. Exhausted and broken, he sat by the river, unsure if he could go on. But deep inside, a small spark of hope remained. That spark kept him alive, pushing him to fight for survival one step at a time.